Get this figure and more at Lunar Toy Store. Hey, my name is Jobby, and what better way to make my return official than with a little bit of TNA, tragedy, and shit! So if you like giant robots but can't talk to real girls, then the Frame Arms Girl line of model kits is for you. These are just humanized versions of the mecha from Kotobukiya's Frame Arms line, and all of the humanizations happen to be pretty anime girls, hence the title, Frame Arms Girl. I really haven't done this in a while. And this lovely lady here is based on the mecha Hresvelgr Ater. That's my honest attempt, and I don't care anymore. And while this might seem like a basic model kit at first, rest assured, there's so many pieces on this goddamn thing that it'll make your head spin. You know what else we can call a spin, right? Let's just not go there. The painting on this model kit is non-existent, I couldn't be fucked, but the sculpting... This has gotta be one of the most attractive plastic bodies that I've ever gotten my slimy, grubby hands on. Why am I like this? She would have looked even better if I had applied these water slide decals. But again, I couldn't be fucked. If you want to know more about water slide decals, why don't you go check out my last Frame Arms Girl video, The Go Right. These are basically stickers except not complete cancer. But even if I did apply these, there would still be a ton of areas that you have to paint anyway, so this thing is really a time sink, isn't it? Just like a real woman. But even without the water slides or paint or actual effort, the kit still has some great sculpted detail, a beautifully sculpted body, and some beautiful clear blue plastic. You'll see a lot more of these pieces as we go along. The face is also really well done. She's just so full of life and character, unlike Gorai, which was pretty much a blow-up doll. But there's kind of an uncomfortable disconnect between the cuteness of the face and the... I'll just leave it at that. Why am I like this? And if we pull off her bang, tear off her face, you could replace her face with either a cocky, smirking face and why am I like this? You even get a few blank faces if you're into that sort of thing. These parts might be exclusive to the Lunar Toy Store, but I'm not sure. And I assume it's for anyone adventurous enough to try putting on these water slide eyes on their own. Which honestly, why would you? I mean, if you put one eye in the center of her face, that would be kind of funny. So I gotta tell you, this isn't even half of the accessories that this thing comes with. In addition to her fists, you get a pair of open hands, relaxed hands, pointing hands, and a wrist peg that breaks too damn easily. It's very common that pulling on the wrist will cause some fractures to form, as you can see here. And it's not like I'm being a barbarian with it or anything. I mean, goddammit, I own so many unbroken Figmas. Just something about the plastic that Kotobukiya uses. It's not quite as flexible as I would like. Luckily, you do get some extra wrist pegs, but I already went through 3 of them. The breakage is not isolated to that area though. Handle her just the tiniest wrong way and this part will end up breaking on you too. And that was partly the reason why this review was delayed so long. Kotobukiya actually had to send a whole nother model kit just for me to replace that one piece. I guess that's because this is a Lunar Toy Store exclusive model kit, but come on Koto, that's a bit excessive. And the ball joint on the head feels just a bit too loose. Needless to say, she's not quite as solid as I would like her to be. And it's a shame because her accessories seemingly encourage playability. I mean, you do get a pair of grabby hands that allows her to carry a few weapons. These things look absolutely great. Those blue pieces are really putting in work here. Just be very careful with these things. Don't mess around. You can make her look really cool with these things, but they are not her best weapon. That honor goes to something a bit bigger. This is a fantastic looking weapon. I love how much it doesn't fit with the daintiness of this character. It's just too bad that this thing is so heavy that... yeah. Which is why you plug her into the included stand. Oh, it snapped off. But to be fair, the reason why it snapped off was a little more my fault than Kotobukiya's, but I'll talk about that later. But hey, we've always got the for all your stand needs. This is the Bandai Tamashii Nations Act 5 stand, by the way. It's just a running joke that fuck it. The fragility of the model kit makes me not even want to go through with the next part. Every joint you move on this figure is a risk of it snapping in half. But, for the sake of my channel, sacrifices must be made. Ball joint at the head. Can't look up that far. I move down that far. Bit of a chicken joint. Her twin tails are on very loose ball joints. And they could even swivel at their base. Very tight ball joint at the shoulder. That's kind of bullshit. Allows for rotation. It can go a little bit more up, but you know, I don't want to break it even further. Shoulder moves out. Bicep swivel. Bend at the elbow. Wrist moves up and down. There is a wrist swivel, but I recommend you don't swivel it too hard. You could also rotate that wrist peg to get some side to side, but it's not even worth it. Swiveling her chest is not not worth it either because again, fuck this. But she could arch her back and she has a decent crunch. And you even get some side to side. Again, be very careful. Nothing on the waist here. Ball joint at the hip allows for a limited kick, but you could actually extend her legs, which allows for a lot more range. And could move back that far, the booty does not get in the way at all. Thigh swivel, double bend at the knee, up and down at the ankle, a pivot, and even... Posability on this kit is actually very good, but the delicateness and the otherwise gross feel of the plastic doesn't really encourage you to actually pose it. Let's do some size comparison. Here's Figma Modic Economy, SH Monster Arts Godzilla, Masterpiece Optimus Prime, and the Frame Arms Girl Gorai. And these two look pretty good together, but the Gorai also had a few of those delicate plastic problems. I really hope that's not a running theme with Kotobukiya kits. So as a figure on her own, the is not bad at all. It's just very hard to play with. But all these other parts that you get doesn't really make it easier. So let's fire up that royalty-free jazz and you'll see what I'm talking about. And here we have, we're not done. You actually get even more pieces to complete the mode, including the cannon and the knife. And finally, we have the what I could only call mode, because all the extra parts that you put on this poor girl look a lot like her mecha counterpart. As for the design of this thing, the excessive and almost disproportionate mechanical parts is kind of an acquired taste. I'm not quite there yet. It reminds me too much of my best friend. But if you're into this kind of thing, I'm sure you'll love the hell out of this design. I do, however, love the abundance of clear blue parts here. The full beauty of these things is almost impossible to capture with a camera, but my iPhone is doing a pretty decent job at it. And it was this ridiculously massive backpack that killed my stand. The peg is actually so stuck in there, god damn it. But like I said before, it was more my fault because I pulled it off at a weird angle. But even then, her wide feet make it somewhat possible for her to stand up, even with that heavy backpack. Okay, kind of. If I let it go, will it fall? Ooh! Yeah, that's not bad, but don't even try posing it. And as you can see on her hips, she's got these big ass things that are almost incomprehensible, but in actuality, they're her weapons. Let's get that set up. God damn, they're cool looking, but they might be a little too big. Again, if you're into the excess, I'm sure you'll love it. But again, don't even try posing her with these weapons, for fear of breakage and because the weight balance is so fucked. But you can safely adjust the angle of the sides using these built-in swivels on the arm guards. As for the rest of her swivels, they're pretty much the same as her other mode, except her backpack has a bunch of movable parts that it's kind of inconvenient to go one by one on, so I'll just say posability here. Let's just forget about that. And her twin tails get an added hinge joint. Hinge joint here. Hinge joint here. And the pivot for these robot feet is insane. So the posability on this mode is still very good. But with all that extra plastic comes even more potential to break something. The mechanical enhancements add a lot of size to the figure. And that backpack is like a whole separate figure leeching off her back. As if she didn't have enough junk in the trunk. Godzilla Prime and Gorai. So this mode was kind of the main event of the kit. I mean, it's on the box art and everything. But you do get the option of configuring the kit into two different hoverbike modes. We'll start off with this first one here, which requires slight disassembly. And of course, some reassembly. Parts forming gives me AIDS. And here we have her first hoverbike mode. I can't deny that this thing looks so good, but getting there is not fun at all. This is one of the few times that I had to refer to the instructions every time I go and transform it, and I put transform in huge air quotes. There's just so much shit to keep track of. But the mode itself looks great. It's kind of a ship hoverbike combo that's connected to her body, so she can't really dismount it. That comes later. I mean, it's not the most solid thing in the world, but it still manages to look sleek. And it's too bad that my stand broke because there's really no good way of displaying this without it. That's the best you're gonna get. Fuck. God damn it. You just look at this thing wrong and it falls apart immediately. Just handling this thing is not fun at all. It's just one big, beautiful pile. Let's just do some size comparisons so we can get to the final mode. Alright, simply put, this mode looks fantastic, but it's even worse to handle than the other modes. I mean, look at this shit. Now, our final mode requires an almost complete disassembly, as well as converting the girl herself, as well as... Oh, fucking hell. Alright, guys, enjoy the sound of an alarm as we go through the video, because goddammit, I gotta get this video done. It's been too long. I'm not gonna let this stop me. So, without further ado, let's turn on that royalty-free jazz, huh? And here we have our second hoverbike mode. And at first it might look like not much has changed, but you'd be wrong about that. This mode, the girl and the bike are completely separate. I actually really like that, because the vehicle is not loosely connected to the girl herself. This mode... I was just about to say that it was less bothersome to handle, but these things still... fuck, just fucking... And again, the mode looks great, it's sleek, it's not solid, of course, and the size of this thing is pretty much the same as the last mode. Gorai. And I found that you could even connect Gorai to the bike, and I'm assuming this works for other frame arms girls as well, which is a pretty fun feature, but I have to be honest with myself. This recording session was hell, and I never want to see a frame arms girl kit ever again. Overall, the kit's pretty good. But it's not awesome. I can't deny how beautiful she looks in all of her modes, but actually handling the model kit, especially for a video review like this, kinda sucked. I would only recommend this if you're a creep, if you have the patience to not only build this damn thing, which is no joke, but to also never play with it. At all. If that sounds like a deal to you, why did you pick it up at the Lunar Toy Store? She goes for a pretty good price there considering all the stuff that you get, and she's also out of stock. I may have made this video a bit too late, but who cares if I'm late? I'm still gonna try to sell it to you because that's what my notes tell me. So this model kit is actually a Lunar Toy Store exclusive, and with this Lunar Toy Store exclusive, you get a few alternate purple hair parts if you want to really weeb it up, and you get a bunch of clear parts that replaces all of the clear blue parts on the kit, which is one of the best parts about the kit, so I don't know why you would want to replace that unless you wanted to paint them a different color, and I understand now. My notes also tell me to mention that Lunar Toy Store has an exclusive Megami device model kit, which pretty much looks like the same thing as Frame Arms Girl, except with bigger... Am I gonna have to review this too? God damn it. So guys, I'm glad to be back. Not the best start to be sure, but hopefully next time will be something that I could really get into. I'll see you next time. Fuck off now, please? Pretty please? Can you fuck off? Are you fucked off? Oh fuck. Fuck off.